Alrighty. Hello. Alright, here's the fifth word that I thought of when I was thinking of words that are so misused or overused that it destroys the meaning. If one word can mean anything, then it means nothing. It's pointless having a word that, means anything. If there's a word for hello and goodbye, you don't know if somebody's saying hello or goodbye to you. This word is phobia. Now, all of these words on my list have real meanings. There is an appropriate use of the word. There is an appropriate use of the word phobia. But I can think of three instances where phobia is usually not its own word. It's usually a part of the word. There's something that prefix that lets you know what the phobia is you're talking about. It's usually combined into one word in English. And a phobia is not just a fear. A real phobia is not just a fear. It's a fear of something that won't hurt you. An unreasonable fear. For example, we hear the term homophobia used a lot. And virtually everybody who is accused of homophobia does not have a phobia. See, if somebody has a phobia of spiders, they see a spider, they'll see a spider across the room and they'll still start to shake. Is there anyone doing that when they see a homosexual person or find out somebody is homosexual? No. The Westboro Baptist Church, which is an extremely small group that's not representative of anything, but some people try to accuse every Christian of being like the Westboro Baptist Church. It wouldn't even be accurate to say they have a phobia. Hate. They have hate, but not a phobia. See, previous word on the list. Hate. There's an example where hate would be accurate. It's not a phobia if you think somebody is going to go to hell and you don't want them there. That's true love. Every 6 months my religion has general conference and there are protesters around the conference center. And virtually every time there's a temple opening, people are around the temple protesting. Those protesters do not have a phobia. Some of them are rude, but they're not, some of them are nice, some of them are rude, but none of them have a phobia. I won't accuse somebody of having a phobia if they think I'm going to end up punished by God at Judgment Day. That's something that really could happen because there is absolutely zero scientific evidence that there is no God. To the contrary, the scientific evidence points to the Earth being some multiple thousands of years old, and not billions of years old, and something had to put life together because DNA is language, and language only comes from intelligence. Random waves washing up onto a beach have never spelled out Johnny loves Susie or any intelligible sentence. Xenophobia is one accusation that's made. The vast majority, virtually everybody, who is accused of xenophobia does not have a phobia. There are really people who come into a country and do bad things there. And in the West, a lot of those people are not from here. Or they are the children of illegal immigrants who have no constitutional claim to citizenship. The 14th Amendment only guarantees citizenship to the freed slaves and their children, who the Democrats were not treating like citizens, which was why the 14th Amendment had to be implemented. And yeah, so there's a lot of them, and there are cultures that have scary and bad things going on. The Middle East, uh, there is definitely a man-centered, man-authoritative society there, where a man gets to divorce his wife by saying, "I divorce you," where the holy book of the majority of the people in that area allows them to have sex slaves. And a lot of people from that area, and some of the people from that area in Britain are doing exactly what their book tells them they're allowed to do. That's not a phobia if it actually happens. If there are actually dead bodies somewhere, it's not a phobia. And in Nice, and in... I'll run out of hands and fingers and toes if I count all the times somebody who was not from the West and was an immigrant did murders, and or the first generation whose parents are from over there, like the Orlando nightclub massacre. He was born in America, but his dad was thinking about running for president in Afghanistan. First generation, his dad still has strong ties to that other country. So there's no phobia there. It's misuse of the word phobia. Islamophobia is one word that we hear a lot of. But again, when there are real dead bodies somewhere, you can't say there's a phobia. Whether the people killing literally thousands, many thousands of people all over the world every year are actually properly following Islam, that's another matter, another debate that could be had. But if there are many thousands of people all over the world dead because of people who claim to follow Islam, then there's no such... that's not a phobia. You can't accuse somebody of having a phobia when there are actually dead bodies there. Phobia is unreasonable. You got a reason to be fearful if there's dead bodies. Phobia is a fear of things that don't hurt you. A lot of people actually were hurt when there are dead bodies. Now, let's finish this video with what is the proper use of the word phobia? I've seen phobia in action. I'm going to talk about two phobias. Phobia of dogs. I've seen people that won't go into a house if they find out there's a dog there until the dog's locked up out back or locked in a bedroom. Even if the dog in the house is the most friendly dog in the world, that's never bitten anybody, and is more likely to drown somebody with slobber licking them than bite them. That's a phobia. Not even going in to be in the same building as this thing. It's a phobia if you're worried about dogs biting, because there are so many, an immense number, vast majority of dogs are not attack dogs, are not biters. And if the dog's owner promises you the dog is friendly, then you've got one more strike against that reasonableness of the fear. And another example of a phobia is people who protest against Mormonism and try to talk you out of it. They don't have a phobia, at least because of them doing that. But there are people who have a phobia of the Book of Mormon. I have tried to share the Book of Mormon with people who, when they look at it, when they find out what it is, they get fearful. They've heard horrible things about it. But there's no reason for them to have that fear. There aren't people who have joined the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints who went out the next year and committed mass murders. There aren't people who joined the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints and their families never saw them again, unless the family disowned them. But It wasn't because the church said, now that you're one of us, all your family members that didn't join, never talk to them. The church doesn't say that. So there's no reason behind a fear of the Book of Mormon that we keep somebody from reading it. It's a book. It's not going to suck you in. It's not pornography. It's not 50 Shades of Grey. It's a book. But some people have a phobia of it. And a phobia is an unreasonable fear, or a fear of something that won't hurt you. For example, fear of a confined space. If you're on an airplane, you're not going to die. Even though the doors are closed up and it's a confined space. That's a phobia. If somebody's high up, if they're on the top of a skyscraper roof, they get close to the edge, they're not hurt by being up high. If they get dizzy when they realize how high they are and fall off, the phobia killed them. Falling hurts, but not being up high. If they lose their balance, lose control, pass out because they realize they're up high and then die, the phobia killed them, not being up high. If somebody has that phobia, you shouldn't encourage them to get near the edge of a building. But thank you for watching. You have a good day.